got Angela Higgins today with us, and we're really talking about the idea that baby boomers are downsizing. They're looking for a place to move in their golden years, and the challenges that the volatile market that we've had over since the pre-pandemic the demand prices went up, inventories went down. Then we got into higher interest rates, and then inventories went up, but houses weren't selling. And here we are, we've landed. And I just wanted to explore a little bit with you, Angela, some of the challenges that the baby boomers could face as they're kind of moving on to the next chapter in Niagara. Niagara region could be a good option for them. And so I'll just introduce you, Angela. Angela is from the Niagara region. She's a realtor based out of St. Catharines, and she's with the Niagara Association of Realtors. Angela's been fortunate to travel across 4 countries and 3 continents. She graduated from the University of Massachusetts in Boston with the highest honors, and she loves traveling. She was recently to Bali, Australia, and New Zealand. And welcome, Angela.
Thanks for having me, Scott. I really appreciate the chance to kind of sell people on the beauty of living in Niagara.
Yeah, awesome. Well, I got a few questions for you. So if we could just maybe kind of go through those. And so one of the things that, people that in my sphere that are baby boomers, I'm a baby boomer, have encountered is moving out of a big city like, Mississauga or in the GTA. What what are some of the obstacles or challenges that they might face in kind of relocating to a place like the Niagara region?
Well, I'm a transplant myself, so I've lived in Niagara for 20 years, and I've seen big changes here. And as you mentioned, I've lived on 3 different continents in 4 different countries. So quite honestly, the move from Toronto, I used to live in the beaches, to Niagara was very, very easy. It was almost like a letting go. It was a letting go of tension. It was a letting go of this microaggression that we don't even seem to realize that we're carrying. So the transition from a big city to Niagara, I don't think is particularly stressful. I used to think, okay, maybe I will miss X, Y, and Z, and I'm only an hour from Toronto, so I can go visit if I need to. I don't go back. I don't miss. We have theater here, we have wineries, we have golf courses, we have incredible, beautiful nature, ability to cross border. I take the Niagara Airbus when we travel. I get dropped off at the door, or picked up here, dropped off at the airport. So honestly, the challenges of moving, I think, are very small. Some people might consider that they're going to miss friends and family. I ended up in Niagara because my parents retired down here. And I found that I visited them more when they lived in Niagara than when we all lived in Toronto, because the ease of getting around. And I would come down here for a long weekend and enjoy. So I don't know that there are too many challenges in general. If people have specific challenges around grandkids or something like that, that's different. But the move to Niagara, I think, would be easier than people expect.
And when it comes to the opportunities in Niagara for things like, bungalows, townhomes, condo apartments, the kind of housing that boomers would be looking for as they transition, their kids are gone. They don't need 4 bedrooms anymore in a family house, but they're looking for not necessarily downsizing, but, resizing into one of those style of homes. And what does Niagara have as far as that availability, and where would that be that they would find that?
So it's going to depend on what type of place they want. So Niagara is very diverse. We've got diverse climate, we have diverse house styles, we have, each town has its own tax system. It's a conglomerate of different places under the scope of a region, but we've got lots of different things available. So if somebody wants a more urban vibe, then you're probably looking at St. Catharines. We've got some really nice condo buildings that are maybe not brand new, but they're very, very well maintained. And they have guest suites. So if you have family coming to visit, there are guest suites available that can be for the family, and then you don't need to clean up after them, and you've all got your own space, but you're close together. We do have bungalow townhouses that are kind of being built in small parcels of land, so they are kind of scattered everywhere. I personally live in something like that where there are only 10 homes on this private street. We get our snow and our grass taken care of. I'm a 3-minute walk to Sunset Beach. So, it's beautiful that you've got the outdoors and somebody else takes care of the snow. I'm finding that some boomers still don't like any kind of concept of condo living, so they want to still be in a detached home. We do have lots of detached bungalows, and they range hugely in price depending on whether or not you want a 1960s, 70s bungalow unrenovated, or you want something that is brand new being built. So you're looking at a range 600 to $1 million plus, depending on size, location, and condition.
A delta from what you would find in Mississauga, price wise for similar types of homes.
There's a big price. Yeah, there's a great financial advantage if you're going to compare apples to apples. You take your same bungalow, same condition in Mississauga, and you move to Niagara, then you're definitely going to reap a lot of equity from moving to Niagara. If you are going to sell your older bungalow and move to a brand spanking new bungalow, new costs money. So you might not see the spread that you had hoped for, but now you're all brand new and you're living in a better quality of life.
Right. How about when it comes to things like, things to do and amenities and like transit and that kind of thing? I think that they're moving the GO line down in through Niagara, and I think parts of it have been opened up. Can you expand on that a little bit?
Well, there is a train. You can get GO from Niagara Falls to Toronto. It might require you changing trains, but there is a transit system. There's also the GO bus that can get you from here into downtown Toronto. There's talk of a hovercraft that has now been postponed by a year, so we'll wait and see if that actually happens, but that's supposed to be St. Catharines to the Toronto Island. Transportation within the region is still a little bit dicey. There are a few bus routes and they're trying to improve that. So getting from Niagara Falls to St. Catharines or St. Catharines to Port Colborne or that kind of thing, you still need a car.
Right.
So our transit, we don't have as many people down here, obviously. And transit is a public system, so it's taxpayer funded. So our transit system is not particularly robust.
Right.
If somebody is assuming that they can drive now, but they're thinking they want to be somewhere where they can walk to things, then that limits our scope of search as well. You don't want to be in Niagara on the Lake for that, for instance, because it's beautiful, but then you're trapped in that kind of area. So part of my job is not just finding people the right home, is finding them the right amenities, the right situation, the right town, quite honestly, for what it is they want to do.
Right.
Outside of transportation, things to do, even if one doesn't drink wine, it is a beautiful way to spend the day to drive around to the different wineries. Just to the scenery is spectacular, and it doesn't matter what time of year, because whether it's winter, spring, summer, or fall, the scenery is just beautiful. We have the escarpment, if you like hiking. We've got the gorges. We've got lots of water. If people like to paddleboard, or we get a lot of kite surfers down here on Sunset Beach because the winds are good.
Right.
So canoeing, actual sailing, water sports abound.
Right.
Hiking abounds. It's just a great place to enjoy life.
Yeah, Chris and I jumped in the car one day last summer and took our bikes down to Balls Falls.
Mm-hmm.
We biked around Balls Falls. It's a beautiful falls there. They
Hmm.
have the Pioneer Village. There's places all the kids were bringing their swimsuits and going up in
Hmm.
falls and swimming. You
They have
can,
a fabulous craft fair there over the Thanksgiving weekend.
oh, nice, yeah.
Mm.
And it was a beautiful spot down there along Vineland, and
Mm.
yeah,
Jordan.
yeah, it was just beautiful. Yeah, yeah. So getting back a little bit to the topic here of kind of the volatility in the market. How have you seen things over the last few years? Because I know a few years ago, some of my friends and associates were thinking about making a move, and then when prices went up and the volatility ended up in the market of not enough inventory, how did that kind of roll out over the last few years for anybody that was thinking about making a move? And kind of where did we land now?
Well, pre-pandemic, boomers had a little bit, or people moving, downsizing, moving to pre-retirement had a little bit more opportunity than they do now, simply because they were the people moving here.
Right,
And once the pandemic hit, a lot of people decided they didn't want to live in the congestion of a big city anymore, because this is the type of thing that could happen more frequently. Working from home became an option. So there's tended to be a little bit more competition for homes. So that was one of the reasons that prices got pushed way up.
right.
And then when the interest rates went up, everybody kind of stopped and went, yikes.
Hmm.
People in Toronto, Mississauga also didn't want to move because they saw prices coming down.
Right,
So where we are now is we can feel the heat in the market starting. Um, I've got a house right now that was listed in the fall, took it off, but people knew about it. So it currently, without being relisted, people have come back and said, okay, can we buy it now? So that's under offer at the moment. So they're definitely, I think the smart money is people catching this momentum right now,
right.
because it is an expectation. We can already feel sales speeding up.
Sure.
And as soon as sales start to speed up, prices push up. So we're already starting to feel that trajectory.
Right,
And I think if people are thinking, they really need to start doing their due diligence now, because they could miss the boat.
sure,
And then we'll be into multiple offers and things come late spring.
sure. Another one of the things that a lot of my friends and family have talked about is they don't know where to get started. They live in Mississauga, they live in Oakville or Milton or Toronto, and like they don't really know other places. They don't know communities. They don't know prices. They don't know lifestyle. How
Mm-hmm.
like the challenge has been and
Where
that
do you start?
where do you start? You know?
I think you start by trying to have a clear idea of what you want, not where you want. So what is your aspiration for the next phase of your life? What do you want to be able to do? Do you want to be able to travel a lot, therefore you can release equity? Do you want to be able to enjoy all sorts of amenities where you live? Do you like winter? That's a biggie, because we have some parts of Niagara have the escarpment protecting us. So we have a much milder winter than a lot of Ontario.
Right,
It's not true for all of Niagara. So you've got to also know where the lines in the sand are.
right.
You get Buffalo weather, where you get Niagara weather.
You
But
get the lake effect, right? Of snow.
yes, yeah. So what is it you want from the next phase of your life? Because for everybody, it won't be Niagara.
Right.
Some people are going to want to go north. Some people might want to go east.
Yeah.
So I'm not here to sell people on you have to move to Niagara. I'm here to help people figure out if Niagara is the right fit for them.
Right.
It's the right fit for me. I absolutely love living here and I love sharing it with people, but it's not going to be the right fit for everyone.
Right. Right. So I always suggest, make a list,
Mm-hmm.
know,
Check it twice.
check it twice, do a vision board,
Mm-hmm.
talk to your spouse and share your ideas. And once you have that list, then jump in the car and go and explore and get professional help because
Mhm.
realtors can get you very focused on on making your list come to reality and
I
come
know where that line is. When you cross it on the highway, I know where it changes
right, right,
to from 4 inches of snow to four
yeah,
feet of snow. I
yeah,
know where that is.
yeah, 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 sure. And so I think, when it comes to making the move into Niagara, what kind of how are the cost associated with, taxes and living in Niagara compared to, say, Mississauga? I don't know if you have the actual numbers, but how do you
No,
feel
because
about
the numbers will change simply because, as I mentioned before, each city
right,
is its own city. So the taxes are different in St. Catharines versus Niagara on the Lake versus Welland versus Thorold versus Port Colborne versus Fort Erie versus Niagara Falls.
right,
They each have their own mill rate.
right,
So the taxes are different depending where you are.
right?
Um, the we only have one. Um, I'm going to forget what it is now. Land transfer tax.
Okay, right, sure.
So we don't have the double land transfer tax. So that's a bit of a bonus versus Toronto, and that's a few
I know.
$1,000.
Yeah,
Uh, but the costs are going to be different depending on where people are. I mean, we still have rural properties where you're maybe going to be getting propane
right,
versus being natural gas. So
mm,
the costs are going to differ. Our
right,
taxes, I understand from people who have moved out, are
right,
a bit higher in general,
right,
but I look at that as the opposite of a sin tax. It's the pleasure tax.
right,
It's that extra that I need to pay to live in a much more relaxed, quiet, clean air
mm,
environment,
sure,
because we've got a lot less industry and
right,
there are far fewer of us to carry the burden.
right, right. And I wanted to get on a little bit too about healthcare. I mean, boomers are, anywhere from 60s to 70s kind of range, but
Mhm.
healthcare, does become a something that will be, needed, over a period of time. How does Niagara kind of stack up for healthcare?
Well, we have the St. Catharines General, which is the biggest hospital in the region. And it has a cancer center, which is great because before we had this, we had to go to Hamilton, to Juravinski. Uh, so we do have a world-class hospital in Niagara. There's also one where they've broken ground and it's being built in South Niagara. So it's at the south end of Niagara Falls.
Mhm.
There are smaller hospitals in Niagara Falls and Welland,
Right,
but like Ontario in general, there's a bit of a shortage of everything.
right,
Um, I do have a family doctor. Some people have struggled to find a family doctor. So that is maybe something people want to consider. Are they going to keep their current family doctor and just commute backwards and forwards when they need to? I know that Ontario in general is looking at expanding kind of virtual
mhm,
uh, doctoring so that people can be a little bit more remote and still get the care they need.
right,
But we've got cities here. We've got, good professionals. It's just the numbers. We don't have quite enough
right,
anywhere.
right. Okay, just on closing, I wanted to share a story. Chris and I enjoy theater, and we went down to Niagara on the Lake a couple of years ago, and we went down with a group of friends, and we saw a cat on
Hot tin roof.
cat on a hot tin roof.
Yeah.
It was such a great experience. We had so much fun, and it's just like Niagara on the Lake. It's just amazing for the theater there and things to do.
Just last night, I bought my tickets for My Fair Lady
Okay.
and One Man, Two Governors.
Oh, cool.
So I've already got my theater on for this summer.
Awesome. That's great. Great. Well, thanks very much, Angela. Angela, is there anything else in closing you'd like to say?
I would just encourage people to get in touch with myself or any professional because it can be a daunting procedure.
Sure.
I understand that people can't make decisions without having answers to questions.
Sure.
There's no harm in asking. I'm happy to do a virtual meeting like this with
Sure.
people. We can go through their questions, and if you decide it's Kingston, that's fine. It's
Sure.
never a problem. I'm
Yeah.
happy to share my knowledge, and I would encourage people not to be concerned about getting in touch.
Sure. Sure. That's great. And Angela, we've worked together for quite a number of years, and
Mhm.
always appreciated your time and experience, and the value that you provided some of my clients as well.
I
So
try.
yeah, well, thank you very much, Angela, and we'll stay in touch. And thanks for doing this interview with us for today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Scott.
Okay, all right, see ya. Okay,
Bye
bye.
bye.
Bye bye.